had the chance to interview some history teachers and other high school students and military personnel about the topic between the war between Russia and Ukraine. Students share what they know about the war between Russia and Ukraine.
Just know that as of right now, Russia has been pushing its way through Kiev and is on its way about near the border towards Poland of Ukraine. But also I know that Ukraine has been getting plenty of support from other countries in NATO with holding refugees in the country, and also that the civilians have also been helping to keep the Russians out of getting farther into Ukraine.
Students sometimes find it hard to talk to others about the war because it's a sensitive topic.
I wouldn't say it's very difficult. I would just say there's like a lot of things that like as a junior and as people who haven't like really come out and experienced our own way, like our own life, and we're kind of just as high schoolers, I would feel like most of it's just kind of very bare bones, and we don't have like enough experience to really talk about how war affects America and the world around us.
It's a bit hard since, in school you don't really want to be too political or anything to offend anybody or to possibly bring up conversations like that. So I tend to kind of keep away from the touchy subject.
There's no sure estimate of when this war will end.
I don't know how it's going to end, but I don't think that it's going to be good.
Until either side, gets tired of it, and they can make them come to a peace and terms. So I'm not too sure on when that'll be.
But I think if he ends up successfully invading Ukraine, which I think will end up happening, I think it will drag on and cause eventually a World War III.
Finding ideas for getting civilians out of Ukraine can be extremely difficult.
Tricky. I mean, there's now, as of today, something on the order of 3+ million people who have fled the war in Ukraine.
That's the scoop on the war between Russia and Ukraine.
At West Bridgewater High School, faculty and staff recently decided to close some of the bathrooms around the school in order to better monitor the open bathrooms. This has been in an effort to reduce the amount of students who are vaping or doing other inappropriate things in the bathrooms. The new development has resulted in many conflicting opinions across students and staff on whether the bathroom closure is really effective or not. We are here to get a deeper look on where the vaping epidemic really lies and what could be done to prevent students from vaping in the bathrooms. The bathrooms being closed due to vaping here at West Bridgewater Middle Senior High School have resulted in many strong opinions among students and teachers on the decision of bathroom closures.
I really don't like it at all. I feel like I just have to put in so much effort to just simply go to the bathroom.
Closing bathrooms limits the amount of available bathrooms to go to. This can cause inconveniences for students and teachers.
I think the bathrooms being closed is really a big inconvenience because I really have to plan when I'm going to go to the bathroom. I just can't go because I'm thinking if I go at the beginning of the class, there's going to be a bunch of people in there. If I go in between classes, there's going to be a bunch of people in there. If I go during power block, there's going to be a bunch of people in there.
With this new tactic in place, it isn't surprising when social conflicts between students arise.
We hear from kids all the time, they just want to go to the bathroom. They don't want to go in there to a, nasty hangout spot where everyone's blowing vape and smoke in their face. It's disgusting, absolutely, and I feel bad for those kids. That's why we're doing it.
With such a big change, you would think that a big population of students would have to be causing the problem.
It's a small percentage, but that small percentage does it a lot. So and the unfortunate piece is when we search kids, because we will search every time, kids are hiding them in places that we're not going to frisk kids. That's, above our right to do so, and I wouldn't want to do that. But so it's frustrating for us as well because we know kids are doing it and we can't catch them. So it stinks all around. So I hope that kids, if they're using vapes, it's a lot of these kids are middle school kids that are too young, and freshmen and so forth. It's just not good for you. So we want to be able to teach them the unhealthy reasons why they shouldn't be doing it,
Vaping in school isn't the only issue vaping causes. It can also cause issues in student health.
I'm not really good at reading cues that they're high or in that way, but I've noticed since we've really tightened the rules on where you have access to vaping in the building. A lot of students are nervous and they're showing signs that they have an addiction, and their temperament kind of changes at different moments of the day based on when they're used to vaping and now they don't really have that access.
After hearing the opinions of our fellow students and teachers, we hope that the efficiency of the bathroom closures improve. Maybe we will start to see some of our new suggestions in action. Hopefully kids will see what the damage is that vaping is doing to their bodies.
Class electives are a great way to try something new or get better at something you like. There's a big range of art, music, health, and tech classes that are offered here at West Bridgewater High School. Students and teachers alike have different perspectives on these electives, and we went out to find them.
I really like electives. I have one day that's full of just electives, and it's my favorite.
Multiple elective teachers have opinions on electives.
It's a good thing, and the elective classes seem to be just a little more relaxed.
I think that electives classes allows students to use the other side of their brain.
Even with the wide variety of classes, there are still some different classes that people wish were offered.
An AP art, because I feel like with band and chorus, I feel like they get a little bit more than the art students.
While there are many options of new classes to be introduced, it seems like cooking is a popular request.
Anything cooking related. It'd be cool. When I was in middle school, we had a culinary class. Oh, it was called home economics.
I'd love a cooking electives. I think that'd be really fun.
While some electives are required, people believe it's important to have a choice.
I think electives are pretty based on what you want to take yourself, so I wouldn't take any away from what we have because there's something for everyone in here.
Some elective classes are required, and there are some different feelings about these requirements.
Not for every elective. I like gym, but I don't think you need to have 15 credits.
It could be a requirement, and maybe a small amount.
Electives are a good way to explore interest and become well-rounded.
I believe that you should show that you're well-rounded to colleges and to do a healthy amount of music and art.
I think it's great that we have a fine arts and technology requirement. Students that are high academic students really almost need to be pushed into the creative areas that are offered in our school.
It seems like most people enjoy being able to have a choice in elective classes.
What we really want are students in our classrooms that want to be there.
I think Pankowski teaches a Life 101, stuff like that, or listening.
Class on just how to do general life stuff.
Many people like having the option of art and music electives.
I would keep the art, music, and computer science electives as a requirement because I think that just gives a good well-roundedness to the student.
Thank you everyone for your opinions. It's so interesting to hear other stances on different topics. Hopefully the school can hear some of these opinions and take them into consideration.
We interviewed students and teachers about gas prices and inflation. Here's what they had to say. We asked some of the teachers what they thought was causing the rising gas prices and inflation.
I would hesitate to say it is one reason. Some people are under the impression that gas prices are high because we are sanctioning Russia for instigating a war with Ukraine.
Now, the United States only depended on about 2 or 3% of natural gas and oil coming from Russia, so that's not a big hit. But you have to understand we have allies around the world, so this is going to put a little pressure on us to resupply them as well.
We've been trying to stay home way more and travel less. So now it's about $50 twice a week just to fill my gas tank.
Seeing my grandma having to drive me and my brother around to all these different places, it's really a struggle.
We asked how these problems affected them personally.
It's $20 more now to fill up my tank, and that's kind of annoying.
Yeah, I'm feeling it. It's about $25 more per car.
I think that gas prices have had a really big effect on me. More than probably 3/4 of my paycheck goes towards gas.
Students and teachers gave their perspectives on how they were dealing with the rising prices.
Walk or take the bike, when the weather gets better, start to rethink and repurpose how you can conduct your business. Our ports are 50, 60, 70, 80-year-old ports that cannot facilitate the enormous amount of quantities that are coming in from China or other countries. I think that we should revisit the Keystone Pipeline in this crisis and emergency situation right now.
I think government spending is having a big influence on inflation, and I think that because of this, it's lowering the value of the dollar, which in turn rises prices.
All of their everyday lives were affected by rising gas prices and inflation.
I do try and drive. I'm a little bit more conscious now of how aggressively I'm hitting that gas pedal. I'm also way more conservative about where I take the car to.
I've been trying to save more money by going out less with my friends and stuff like that.
I've been picking up more hours at work, so rather than working 4 days, I've been working like 5 to 6 days.
I've been trying to be more smart with my money and not make as many impulse buys that I would usually make.
Just thinking about what I spend my money on more.
I haven't. I'm very upset about it.
As you can see, everyone's affected by gas prices and inflation, but we all adjust.
Today we asked our fellow Wildcats about their various thoughts on the CAF. First, we asked some students and teachers what was their opinion on the variety of food in the CAF.
Well, it's not me waking up in the morning and deciding what I want to serve that day. It's done at least a month ahead of time. And we actually have what they call a menu cycle. So we have a 4-week menu cycle. So every 4 weeks, the menu repeats itself. So it helps us to kind of plan ahead when we're ordering. But we do put some new things in there when we can. So, I know yesterday we served a new taquito. So we try to shove some new things in there. So we're flexible with it, but that's how we decide what's for lunch.
As far as I know, I think the lunch options are pretty good, but I'm probably the wrong person to ask because I'm a vegetarian, so I only eat certain foods.
A little bit. I like it because it's different. There's salads, there's sandwiches, there's something fresh. I've seen other schools. It's always hard when you haven't seen other schools. I've seen other schools, and it's like nice to have a diversity here.
Then asked her how much preparation goes into break and lunch each day.
Well, probably more than you might think it does. There are some items that are obviously already pre-wrapped, and all we have to do is take them out of the freezer and put them on the line. But there are recipes that we have that require at least a day's work. So I have staff that come in as early as 6 in the morning, and they get started as soon as they hit the ground running to make sure that lunch is ready on time.
Fellow students. We asked our fellow students if they thought break should be longer.
100%. I'd never have enough time to finish my purple Doritos or my chocolate donuts, and I need to drink at least 2 chalks, so I need at least an extra 5.
Breaks should be shorter. We should have less breaks and more math.
The last question we asked Mrs. Grinder was, what was her favorite part about working in the CAF?
Well, I really love my job. I've always wanted to work in school nutrition. I think it's important that we serve students the best possible food every day. I feel really strongly about that. And it's a nice place to work. Everyone is so nice. And I have the best lunch ladies in the world. So it's really a pleasure that I get to have my office surrounded by some of my favorite people.
Well, that was our interview of our fellow Wildcats and their various thoughts on our Wildcat Cafe. Thank you.